All right, welcome everybody to take two of Just Win's first or inaugural podcast. At the moment, we're just an audio session, but hopefully in the near future we'll be able to upload a bit more. And I'd like to welcome this week, and as well as last week, with you guys didn't hear Lee, who's going to be our Melbourne expert. And I'm sure you guys have seen his tips from last week that were put up on the website. And we've also got Adam online, who's going to be our Sydney expert.
Hey guys.
How'd we go last week, boys?
No
mixed,
good, mate. It was
luck.
one of those.
One at a time.
It was one of those Saturdays. One of those Saturdays would have been better off spending at the shopping centre with my missus, but
Jeez, that's hard.
they happen sometimes. Sometimes they happen. So hopefully this week we can put that weekend in the rear vision mirror and perform a bit better.
Yeah. What about True Detective?
True Detective, well, given absolutely every chance, just pipped on the line, absolutely shattering for all concerned. But that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, seems to be the way in Sydney at the moment. The last league getting knocked over by a $20 pop in the last by a nose.
Rough.
Yeah, rough for the punters. Lee, how'd we go last week? You got a few placings at odds.
Even, mate. 3 tips, second, third and fifth. So not far away, but not quite there either. So with a better run, I think if the first horse had a run straight, it might have been a different story. But anyway, it was beaten by a good winner, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, a couple of them hit the lead and they just got nailed on the line. So, and when they're at double figure odds, you can't ask much more than that. They've got to give a side. And I thought it was pleasing to see Flemington actually come back and present us with a quality track down south, because we've been copping the leader bias tracks lately down there, and it was good to see the winners coming from all over the place.
100%.
For me, we got popular stuff. Drifted out to $2.20, but Galtiro gave him a good run, but young Corey Bayliss was able to put him over the line late. Then we had the other Gary Duncan horse, Speaking Bad. I thought he was actually really good. He was 18 now to $25, and he probably just got too far back and probably not up to that standard yet. But he still ran 5th at those odds, so maybe back in class a bit. I think he'll definitely be in the money again.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it. Did we see any horses, trainers, or jockeys to follow?
For me, obviously the main eye catcher from last weekend, which everyone saw, was Vega One up in Brisbane. Returned in fabulous order, so we got something to look forward to coming into our Brisbane Carnival to see how he goes. I'm sure we won't be getting much of a price about him after that run, but I'm certain he'll run well. Not sure, mate. I'll see what happens. We've noticed the inquiry there, but will be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, he was a good thing licked, and as we were talking about last weekend, it was lucky we got done in the second last leg, because we would have been spitting chips if that got held up and did us in the quaddie. So yeah, how about you, Lee? Lee's going no good with the audio at the moment. He's muted himself. Cracking audio.
Teething problems.
Now, Adam's on. Well, while he fixes that, I think the Gary Duncan stable's really flying at the moment. He had a ripper day at his home track at the Sunshine Coast. I think the one we've got to look at, everyone was talking about Isotope, which is fair enough, but she ended up running 57.76 or something like that, and actually beat Just Dawn's time. But I actually really liked the run of Goldsboro in behind, the first starter for the Duncan stable. It led him up and did all the hard work on debut and was only beaten a couple of lengths. So that was something definitely to look forward in the future. And I'd say he'll start a lot shorter next start. But let's get on to this week. And it looks like a few hard tracks to crack a winner with. So we're trying to get some value, and we'll go with Adam first in Sydney. What do you got for us, Adam?
Yes, thank you, mate. We are at the Kensington track at Randwick this week. Looks like the weather is fine down there. We've got a good 4 at the moment. I expect it to stay the same. Rails out 2 metres. As we know, the Kensington track can sometimes play a little bit towards the leaders, but hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully we can get a bit of luck there this weekend. I've got a few tips for the punters this week. My first tip is my best bet, and that comes up in race 8, number 12, Bandersnatch, for Gerald Ryan with Brenton Abdullah aboard. Obviously, last week he was well backed, well supported in the Hawkesbury Guineas. Scratched just before the race, which was a shame for connections. But yeah, he presents again this weekend, and I think he'll be a great chance. It looks a race that doesn't have a lot of speed. He's a go-forward horse. I expect him to be out in front, and yeah, hopefully he's well prepared and ready to go first up. After him, my next best and something else I think we can back to win is in one of the earlier races, race 2, number 7. We have a filly there, a 3-year-old filly called Amido for the Godolphin team. I feel she's a very promising young horse. This one, very progressive. Won her last 2 over a mile in lower grade, but I think up to 1800. I think in a race that's pretty low on depth, I feel she can get the biscuits for us. I think she's got a fair bit on them. My only little concern with her is she is going to get back, so hopefully the track is playing fair enough, and I think she'll be winning. And then on to my third tip for today, and that's my value tip. And this one comes up in race 5, number 11, Up Trumps. First up here, we've got a good double-figure odds price here, around about the $13 mark at the moment as we go to air. First up, as I said, good first up record. Won 2 from 7 with 3 placings. My keys to this horse here on Saturday is that we've got the booking of James McDonald. I feel that's a really, really good booking for him, for this horse. The trainer, Joe Cleary, generally has a good strike rate when he puts J-Mac on. So hopefully this is one we can get some good value about each way, and hopefully we can run a race. I will just put asterisks on that. I definitely recommend betting more the place on this horse. He does have a history of finding one better. So probably a good option might be to go 1x4 or 2x3 for the punters with this one.
Right, so just as a bit of a summary there, we've got Adam's got 2 best bets on the weekend in Sydney. We've got race 8 to start with in Bandersnatch, it's $2.80. And we've got race 2, Amido, $3.40. And in race 5, we've got the value bet, and he wants to go 1x4 or 2x3 at about $13 and $3.70 Up Trumps, who Lee, and I'm sure a lot of the Just Win supporters know we've tipped Up Trumps a few times, and he's always come up trumps, but never quite got the bickies. But he does have a good fresh record, and as you said, with J-Mac on board, hopefully he can get the bickies for us in race 5. Lee, absolutely. Over to Melbourne. What do we got?
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
We can.
Yeah, okay, no worries. I actually, I was going to say earlier, I picked up the wrong AirPods, but anyway, I was going to say earlier that I do have one to watch. Yeah, I did pick up hers actually, yeah. There is one to watch that I was going to mention earlier. I don't know, I've spoken to you two about it. I should have probably mentioned it last week, but it's running on Saturday, so I thought I'd share that. And that's Miss Frost in Perth, in Ascot, race 2.
I think she'll be winning some really good races in future. She absolutely bolted in first up after 76 weeks. Last start, hardly touched. She looked really good. She was backed as well, $1.75 into $1.60. So, seventh start on the weekend, she is short enough, $1.35. So whether you want to step in or not, that's up to you. But she should be winning some good races in future.
How far do you
so that's my
reckon
one to
she'll
watch.
go?
But look, they have enough sort of fillies and mares sort of listed Group 3 sort of races over there. So I think she'll be sweet for those sort of types. Whether we can see her in some better sprint races or not. But I think she can definitely win some black type in some of those fillies and mares races, whether that's this prep or next. I think she's got some big upside.
Yeah, plenty of quality there. What have we got for Melbourne, Lee?
So Melbourne, look, fingers crossed it goes ahead, as it's a heavy 9 currently, and there's expected more rain over the next couple of days and Saturday as well. So we'll be playing on a heavy track. I have no doubts about that. So I've done form based on that. And I'm probably expecting a 9 or a 10, definitely. So let's see how she plays. I usually try and look at horses that will settle in the front half at Sandown, not necessarily always leading, but in the front half, as horses that generally are more positive at this track will generally be able to kick away on the turn, and it's hard to run sort of horses down. So I've got one best bet and then 3 sort of each way values. They're all in double figures, so I think that they're worth a look at. They might shorten up, obviously, with scratchings and that sort of thing, but I think for now we'll have a play at these. So rates 2, I'm going to go for my best bet early. Number 6, Duke of Plumpton. Short enough, it's about sort of $2.20 or something like that, but looks a really progressive type. In the care of Paddy Payne, won first up here in Australia. It's ex-Kiwi, so you obviously know it's going to get the wet track. Winner of 4 from 10, and even though it wasn't great company, it beat first up. It was really explosive when it hit the front, and really ran through the line. So I suggest it probably wants a bit further as well. Gets out an extra furlong here. Nice gate to say it's probably going to set a little bit further. It was a bit worse than this midfield last start, but if you look at some of its New Zealand runs, sort of settling around sort of forward half of midfield, up to sort of third or fourth. I think that's the sort of right spot for it from the barrier as well. And no doubt Billy Egan will give us a good ride, so I'm pretty confident that can be winning. And looks to me like it's probably the best wet tracker in that race as well.
Yeah, the jockey trainer combination is flying at the moment, and he's been winning heavies in New Zealand, so they're the ultra heavies over there.
Yeah. Well, I think they only start heavies at heavy 10 or something, don't they? They don't start at 8. So that's my first bet. The next of the each way ones that I'm going to have a play at, race 4. Number 5, Cass Village. I noticed here that it's shortened up a couple of bucks already. When I was having a look at earlier, it was $25. I sort of see it around the 18, 19, 17 sort of mark. I think we run a good race. Don't look too much into its form for the last 2 starts. First up, it was just outpaced, 955 metres. Good luck to you. You've got to be a genuine sprinter to be that, and I think she's more sort of 1200, 1400. I just don't think she was in that. She just, wasn't fast enough over the 955. Then went to Warwick Farm the next start, sat about 5 wide. It wasn't a heavy track. Leader came from behind it. She looks pretty nice type, tricky gal as well. There's form out of the race. Feather has won amongst another horse as well. So I think we can look into that pretty favourably. And like I said, she sat wide and just sort of plugged home the last 200, but was good enough on the line to suggest she's going okay. Just had a bit of a tough run, and was only about under 3 lengths off them. So even though she ran 8, still was under 3 lengths from the winner. And the horse that came 4th, I think, as won, and she was only about sort of the length and a bit off that. So I think we can look upon that. She's got form in the heavy. Her only misses have been when she's gone clockwise. So she's 2 from 2 in Melbourne on the heavy. So I think that's good form. She's won 4 in the wet. So I think that she profiles the right way. She also should get a good run from barrier 4. I'm predicting probably sitting, about 4th, 6th, which is, like I said, where I'd like to be. And some of the favourites like to get right back to sort of back. So I'm happy at the $20 just to have a play that should be forward enough, and we'll get the wet ground at that sort of price.
Yeah, he's $17 and $4.60, and I was just going through every time she's gone down to Sydney, they've been chasing the heavy tracks down there, and yeah, she's been shortening him up in value, just not getting the biggies. But probably of note is the fact that each time they've been carrying decent weight, and this time we're at 56 kilos after the claim. So
exactly right. I think she was carrying big weight last start as well, over
61
kilos. So,
yeah.
So good luck sitting 5 wide, no cover, 61 kilos and a heavy track. So yeah, I think she just at value. I think she's a good play.
Yep.
We go then to race 5. Number 3, Kusari, who looks a really promising type. Already run 3 races from Freedman Yard, Godolphin owned. Looks a really promising type. Its 2 wins this start have been really good, where it's fought really hard and won through the line, which to me shows a horse that wants to win. And it stays at won at 2,080 meters last start. Stays at that sort of trip at 2,100. Will be up on speed. Like I said, I think that's good. Hopefully from that gate, you can get across and maybe either lead or sit outside the leader. I don't see a heap of pace in the race. So I think comfortably you should be able to do that, Ollie. And if you look at sort of through the field, you've got a fair few horses that have only sort of won 1 or 2 races out of, a lot of goes, apart from maybe Turadin, who had every chance last start and draws the same. So I think at $12 for a horse that's won 50% of the races, has won at the trip, I think that's a good value play, in my opinion. And like I said, will be up on speed, has won on a soft track, run second in a heavy track, and that was only by 0.1 of a length. So, and that was when it got back, and since it's gone forward, has been undefeated. So I think it's at $12 represents a good bit of value.
Yeah, if he can get across all right, and dictate, Ollie can dictate the race and give it a good show for sure.
And last bet is race 7. I couldn't believe when this went up at $15. I'm happy to take that. It's horse number 5, Open Minded. It's undefeated, 3 from 3. Freedman again with Zara on board. Gets a good gate, will be up on speed, has won at the track, which I think is very favourable, especially when you're looking at Sandown. It's 2 from 2 in the heavy. It just ticks a lot of boxes. I know that favourite looks pretty good, Masked Crusader, but it's unproven on worse than good 4. So for me, I think why not take something at $15? That's going to be up close to the speed. I think it probably set last start, its first 2 starts it led out. Last start it sat 4th. I think it'll probably do the same again, sit 3rd or 4th behind the speed. I think there's a little bit of speed in this, so I think it'll just take a sit run. And I think it's at $15. I think it's a genuine winning chance, especially if Masked Crusader doesn't get a great run from barrier 1 on a heavy track. So yeah, I'm happy to take that at $15.
Yeah, looks a progressive gelding. Well, what we've got is Lee's summary. Is we got best bet race 2, number 6, Duke of Plumpton, around that 2:15, 2:20 mark. And then we've got 3 each way tips. We've got race 4, number 5, Cat's Village at $17. We've got race 5, number 3, Kusari at $10. And race 7, number 5, Open Minded at 13. Thanks, Lee. I'll go to Doomben, which is it's a bit of a, because of the zoning restrictions and whatnot. I think we've got a Sunshine Coast meeting and another Brisbane meeting on Friday night. So I've had to go through the form, and half of the Golan runners and half of the Edmonds runners haven't had jockeys. So I'm sort of going off the fact that if they don't have jockeys, they're either going to another track or not, or getting scratched altogether. So, but what we'll start off with, we've got Best Bet in race 6 is Shalwa, and we're getting $3. They've taken the blinkers off it, and it's won 2 in succession, which is very pleasing. It's gone up in distance each time. Drawn in 2 again, so should be able to find the lead, rail along and dictate. And with the claim, she's only got 54 kilos. Last start, we saw that they ran them ragged out in starting. Probably went a bit too hard over the 1350, but was able to keep kicking and held on, beating the likes of Profit and Red Chase, both which have won in subsequent weeks. And what was the best part about it was they really cleared off to 4th place there. I think if she settles in the race, I think she's going to be very hard to beat. So that's race 6, Shalwa at $3. And best value, we've got in race 8 now. It's pretty keen on Jardine Rouge, coming off the back of Fasano last time and not running it down. But there was one in behind them only, really finding it late, called Bold Ariel, or Bold Ariel, not sure how to say it, at $18 and $4.40. It was previously with Kieran Ma down in Victoria, and was warned off by the stewards just because of its Barry manners and not jumping well, and they've been able to throw a Barry blanket on her, and she just got too far back last start at Doomben, and I feel like they're going to learn each time it steps out. She'll spot the leaders again, but there looks a lot of tempo out in front, which will suit her. Her runs on soft tracks haven't been great. However, I think you've got to just put a pencil through it, because she was a very promising horse early on in her career, and those soft track runs were in classes above this, what she's seeing on Saturday. I think if the inside of the track isn't playing great, at the end of the day there, if it's soft at Doomben on the weekend, which it looks likely, she could whir down the outside and get the bickies for Billy Healy second up. So yeah,
do you think? Sorry, mate. Do you think they might go forward on it from the draw, or do you reckon they'll go right back?
Well, I think it depends on whether it gets the jump or not, because that's always been its problem. If I have a feeling they'll sit back just because they expect the pace of the race to be, right on from the get-go.
Yeah.
But I think it could be a bit of a, if it jumps with them, and it could be a real blowout for the quaddie, for sure.
Because I was just going to say, you're not wrong there, because just looking back through its form, it jumped really well in a Flemington straight race, and it sat up on speed, and that was a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago now. But I think you look through it, and it's either jumped really well and sat close to speed, or just hasn't jumped at all and had to go last.
Yeah.
So thought I'd ask there, mate.
Well, this is the type of horse that ran in the gym crack, then was in the Whitten Stakes behind Fiesta, and then ran on a soft 7, this is really good form. In a soft 7 over 1200 as a 2-year-old, ran second by 0.8 of the length to Al Merton, who Al Merton ran third in the slipper, didn't it, or fourth?
he was purchased for a fortune by Coolmore just before the slipper, and I think he ran about fifth or so, and then he's done nothing since. He was definitely very promising at that time.
Yeah, so as I said, I think we're getting the odds to test it, and I don't necessarily like tipping anything that runs on at Doomben, but she's the one if she can really let down the outside and the pace is hectic out front, $20 or $18, she's the one.
You're right, and she's one of those horses, horrible fresh and goes real good second up.
Yep. So.
Yep.
And Billy Hill, he's a bit of an underrated trainer at Sunshine Coast. He gets some good ones. So, definitely in it for me. Throw it in your quaddies, everyone. I think around the grounds, we'll start this segment off this week. I've got two. I'm going against Adam in Sydney in race 8. He's gone with the favourite Bandersnatch at $2.80. Lee will be all over this as well, I hope. It's outrageous for the Hawks team at $8.50. I just couldn't ignore its fresh run. It was over the 1,200 metres. It was caught wide and just kept coming. Second up, it's 2 from 4. And although it's got a bit of a tricky gate at that price against that opposition, I think it's a good each way chance. What do you guys?
Fair enough, mate. Yeah, he's definitely was very impressive first up. So would not surprise if he's in the finish. But as I've already said, I'm pretty keen on Bandersnatch in that, but definitely not without a chance.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go to head there, and I think we've got the best maiden running around in Australia at the moment. Going around in Morphettville. We got race 7, Toffee Tongue, $6.50. It's run a couple of seconds to Colette, which is she'd be one of the best fillies getting around in Australia at the moment, even though it is over a trip. But I really thought it'd open at $4, and they've ended up going $7.50 into $6.50. I just think that cream of the crop will just rise. Quality New Zealand blood. Tavistock out of a Zabeel mare. She's drawn perfectly in 3 to sit midfield wherever she wants. And Waller knows his stuff. I don't think, I thought it would be rare that Waller would send a horse from Sydney to Adelaide 2.5 weeks after, 2 really promising runs. So obviously it's just after every race, just got back on the board and eaten up. And I think she'll be dueling out the finish and hopefully saluting at $6.50. Anything else, boys?
Just on that race, I had a bet on Vegas Jewel last start. Comes up at about $8 in this race. It was a complete forgive run in that Sweffervescent Stakes there at Morphettville last start. Did not get any luck whatsoever. So if you're a fan of Vegas Jewel, obviously the wet track, we haven't really seen her on that kind of surface before, but I definitely think she's not without a chance as well. Obviously, during the spring, she was one of the better fillies going around, and yeah, she appears to have, from what we've seen so far, she appears to have returned in pretty good order. So she's in the mix for me in that as well.
Yeah, she's at $8, so looks like a couple of favourites, and obviously Fair to Remember's coming to favourite down the bottom there. But we've got a few cracking races down in Morphettville with only local jockeys, which is good for the local industry. And any other tips, boys?
Yeah, over in Perth, I've got one in race 3. Number 5, Solid Azza, getting $7 about her. I think she's pretty good. She's won 3 from 8, and they've been pretty outstanding wins when she's won. She likes to get back, so you need a bit of luck, but you should get it from barrier 9 in this. And if you look at her previous form, she's got some really good form on the board. Like her last start, she ran 3rd, and she got no luck, but had barrier 3. Start before that, had the same barrier 9, came storming down the outside and won really well. I was on the thing that comes second, of course. And if you look at the other sort of patchy form throughout, it may look patchy, but she's just hasn't had as much luck. And that's mainly due to sort of inside draws or just poor rides. She gets herself some Smoking Joe today, or on Saturday, sorry. So quality rider with a fair bit of experience now, and doesn't look a real deep race. It's just a sort of race where a lot of horses won sort of, 20% of the races to 10 to 20% of the races. So I think at the price at $7, I'm pretty happy to go each way on her.
So how much was she again, Lee?
$7.
$7. $7 for the mare each way. Any others?
Does anyone have any tips in the Sangster, the Tab Classic in Morphettville? I'm very interested to see how away game goes against the older horses. I think that's a really probably the most exciting thing for the weekend for me to see how she measures up. Obviously, a top class 2-year-old filly, 47 kilos. She's proven in the wet ground, so I think she's a really good chance at winning that one.
You reckon there's going to be a big upset in this?
Always the chance in Adelaide, isn't there?
I can just
I can feel
a horse like
price.
Street Icon getting up about $80.
Surely
really,
not.
A Street Boss in the heavy just gone bang. But yeah,
I thought Liar might be worth an each way go too. First time with the blinkers. She's obviously a high class filly as well. $11 isn't a bad price in my opinion.
why is she $11 though?
Sorry, mate?
Why is she $11 though?
I'm not too sure. She was behind William Thomas last start. She worked home quite well out wide on the track. All her runs this prep have been fair, nothing brilliant, but she's always been in the finish. So yeah, wouldn't surprise me with the blinkers on if she does improve enough to win a race.
Lee, what do you reckon?
I think I'm excited.
In heavy,
got his group run breakthrough. Yeah, mate. If you look at its heavy runs, it hasn't been that bad. Like Sapphire Stakes ran fifth, only beaten 3 lengths by White Moss. In that race, it was dominated up on speed. Fasika ran second. Bangkok, and it was wide, no cover. And then its other heavy track run was in a Galaxy, beaten by Nature Strip, Pierrata, and that sort of echelon of horse. So, and if you look at a soft track form, it's been really good. Won the Galaxy on a soft, second in the Winona Girl behind Fasika, who's a winner, and it's got Geetrap form. That was his other run recently on a soft track, and then you have to go right back to 2018 where it won on a soft 7 and a Derby Munro. But I think it's soft track form. It's by Stencil, so every chance it gets the heavy, and I think it's going good. It's going really well this prep. I think there'll be a fair bit of speed on in this race. Horses could be going everywhere and might get a sweet run from the draw. Domton or on. So yeah, I'm at $11, mate. Happy to have a little nibble on that.
yeah, I think it's definitely going to be one of those quaddies that if you can jag 5% of it, you'll be doing well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, boys. Anything else before we check out?
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, guys, was did anyone catch the win of He's Imposing on Wednesday at the Sunshine Coast?
Not me.
First up for Stephen O'Day, former Bjorn Baker horse, correct me if I'm wrong, usually over 2,000 metres, mile and a half. 1,300 metres first up. He was unbelievable. I'm really keen to see if he can kick on with it second up and beyond into his prep as he gets up in distance as well. So just wanted to keep an eye out on him. He absolutely bolts it in. So
speaking of good horses that are stayers that bolted in, is it Herovium? The
Harrobian?
Townsville horse that just keeps winning. Do you reckon they bring it down? They bring it down after the restrictions.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
have to.
Crack at a couple of races.
He's going to have 100 kilos on him if they keep him running up there. So
But
better
he still
get him
keeps
out.
winning
Yeah,
though.
it'll be doing a
Probably
great.
will.
It'll be going down to probably the Edmonds team, same as Grey Missile did, and picking up 45 grand here and there, I guess. It's good to see that. What is it? A 6 or 7 year old gelding can go on with it and string them together somewhere else.
It's unreal because you look at its form from Victoria. I think its last run before it went up north, it ran like 4th or 5th or something in a 58 in Victoria, and it's just gone up and won Triple Crown up there and just keeps winning. So
Yeah, it can
it's a good
can be a lot of things. The trainer might have gone, oh well, they're not riding it the right way, and we might do it our way a bit better, or could have had injury problems or something. So it's I don't know what they paid for it, but it's good to see. So yeah,
I think it was like 21,000. I think I read an article. Good good buy.
Yeah, paid for it, didn't it? All right, boys. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there, and it's good to see that we finally got one underway, and hopefully this was done on a Thursday night, so hopefully Friday afternoon we'll have it out for punters, but if it doesn't, we'll definitely have paper form out, and we really want to hear from you guys out there in the socials. Any story ideas, any recommendations are definitely welcome, and if you can help me out with the audio or anything there, definitely hit me up because I need it. I need plenty of help.
Somebody help him.
Somebody help me. All right, boys. Thanks again, and we'll talk again next week.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right. See you, boys.
Yeah, mate.